and that's not going to change today. So we go into our Seahawks news, and it's more coaching hires. If you were expecting something else or something else, if you were expecting something else to dominate the Seahawks section, you are in the wrong place, unfortunately. The Seahawks continue to make coaching hires. This you're seeing on your screen is the majority list of the Seahawks officially confirmed for coach hires under head coach Mike MacDonald. There may be more, but we'll go through the timeline of this right now. So on the 19th of February, the team officially hired former linebacker Josh Bynes to become the assistant linebackers coach. He is pictured on your screen there in his Ravens days. He is a former Ravens and Chargers linebackers coach. He comes to Seattle, obviously having worked with Mike MacDonald to become their assistant linebackers coach. On the 20th, the team hired Nick Perry to their defensive staff. The ex-Alabama and NFL safety worked for the Atlanta Falcons for the last 3 years and was also previously part of Nick Saban's crew with the Alabama Crimson Tide. On the same day, the team hired Jets offensive assistant Mac Brown as their new tight ends coach. He had previously spent 5 seasons in New York. On the same day, the team hired Chargers linebackers coach Jeff Howard to become their defensive backs coach. Previously, before he was with the LA Chargers, Howard was a defensive backs coach and a pass game coordinator with the Browns, helping them rank 5th in the NFL in pass defense. That hiring at the time would put Seattle at 17 assistant coaches. Howard had worked with the likes of Denzel Ward out there in Cleveland, and now obviously he comes to Seattle and gets to work with some exciting defensive backs like Devon Witherspoon, like Tariq Woolen, and we could go down the list, and I'm sure we might go down the list further after the NFL draft, but that's later on. On the 21st, the team hired Justin Hines as their new defensive line coach. He had previously been an assistant D-line coach with the Chicago Bears. And then you can kind of see the rest of the confirmed hires there. That some of them we did mention last week on your screen as well. So interesting to continue to see. I think the title of this week's Seahawks segment will be that the Seahawks are adding on to their coaching staff part 3, or it's the banner here that you see in front of you. So yeah, I mean, this staff, I believe, is now at 23 assistant coaches, which is the same as it was under Pete Carroll before the news that he was moving on. It'll be interesting to, and that doesn't include the staff that strength and conditioning coaches and further than that. So it'll be interesting to see if Mike MacDonald and John Schneider make more of those hires. There are a lot of different coaches that are joining the Seattle staff that have a lot of respect around the NFL. It'll be interesting to see how this group, this unit as a whole with the staff is able to come together, work together, and make a contender, hopefully, out of the Seahawks. But it feels good so far. You know, once there was the news about Pete Carroll, there was a lot of questions about how things would go after him, and I think the hiring of Mike MacDonald as the head coach and then the additions in the coaching staff around him have just made things better and better, and the Seahawks fans and the fan base as a whole feels relatively good about that. So that's good to see. We do have another piece of news. There's going to be some contract and some cap space talk, so prepare for that. We did have some Geno Smith news last week regarding his contract and this and that. I talked about how the move with Geno last week kind of ensured that he would be on the roster to start the year. This move also suggests that on the 22nd, the team restructured his contract, converting $9.6 million of his roster bonus into a signing bonus, creating $4.8 million in cap space for the upcoming year. In addition to that news of that move, the NFL's salary cap is going up about $30 million. So the move to create this cap space with Geno's contract actually put Seattle at about even and put them about at the salary cap itself. So with this news here of the salary cap going up, Seattle has about $13 million or will have it in cap space approximately. There's a lot of numbers to go around here and there. So it'll be really interesting to see what Seattle will do with that cap space. But at the same time, we talk about that, and some Seahawks accounts and pages have been like, oh, it's time for them to go and spend that bag. Every other team in the NFL gets that salary cap increase. So, the market won't exactly benefit Seattle as opposed to other teams. It's a level playing field in that regard. Not so level in terms of how your general manager and your front office staff handle the usage of that salary cap space. So not too much to look at and analyze and give opinions on per se with this week's news for the Seahawks. I mean, you get these assistant coaches. A lot of them do have some previous quality experience with other teams around the NFL. A good amount of them have previous experience with Mike MacDonald, and then there are some here and there in terms of hirings who kind of are coming out of the woodwork, and you're interested to see what ties they had to Mike MacDonald or what interested them from the front office to make this decision to bring them on. But at the end of the day, right now, even before more hires are made, if they are going to be made, I feel good about Seattle and where they're at with this coaching staff at the moment. So from there, with the Geno Smith news and the contract, of course, that wraps up everything with the Seahawks for the